Good afternoon and welcome to another Tuesday live session and demo with us at Hives.co. I hope you're having a great day and a great afternoon this Tuesday. My name is Alexander. I'm one of the co-founders behind Hives.co, and I do also have my brilliant colleague and co-founder Fredrik with me as well, who will be helping out with any kind of chat moderation or questions and thoughts that you might have during this session as well. For those of you who haven't been watching this before, this is something that we are actually doing at the same time every Tuesday live to answer your questions or thoughts around Hives and continuous improvement and driving change with the help of employee ideas and also ideas and insights from customers and partners as well, of course. And we're doing this for pretty much everyone who are working within continuous improvement or change management or product management, pretty much all kinds of job roles and titles that might need these different insights, ideas, or feedback into their decision-making process out there. So how we are going to do this is I'm just gonna give you a short introduction and short background of Hives, just to give you some context around what we are. I'm gonna give you a very short demo in just a few minutes on the platform or the tool itself, just to show you how that works practically as a use case. And then we're going to be focusing on questions and answers, of course, after that one as well. So feel free to post any kinds of thoughts or questions that you might have in the chat section during this session as well. And we'll bring up as many as we possibly can at the end here as well. Excuse me. So to begin with, for those of you, I just wanted to mention that as well, that every Tuesday we are focusing on a specific theme. That was what I was going to mention as well. And the theme for today is the power of perspectives, how to get the right input to make accurate decisions out there. So I'm going to be coming back to that in just a minute or so as well. But first, just a very short introduction for those of you who don't know Hives. Hives is a tool that is used by organizations, big and small, in pretty much all kinds of industries out there, to collect, prioritize, and keep track of ideas and feedback to make more accurate decisions. And what we are a little bit extra focused on is the ease of use, because what we know when we've been working with hundreds of different organizations out there is that the ease of use is very is something that really decides whether you will be succeeding in this or not. So we're all about making it easy for the people you want to ask for ideas, insights, and feedback, to make sure that they can share and submit their input in an easy way. And also, of course, easy for you to use, who are managing all of the things that you capture and collect as well, to make sure that you can drive that input all the way from collecting it until you can make accurate decisions to help your organization make progress and solve different challenges out there with new solutions. So pretty much no matter what kind of ideas, feedback, or insights that you might need, and no matter from whom, Hives will be the easiest choice to make sure that you can capture and prioritize ideas and feedback in the easiest way possible. And you've probably tried a few different alternatives out there to capture or collect insights, ideas, and feedback. So you might be asking, why are companies using Hives and not other options out there? So what a lot of companies and organizations are seeing out there is that to manage change or improvements or projects, pretty much any kind of initiatives, you usually need other people's input, right? And getting that input can sometimes be pretty difficult, because ideas and feedback and insights are all over the place, and you've probably tried managing them through email threads, through spreadsheets, sticky notes, whiteboards, workshops, going on and on and on. And as you've probably experienced yourself as well, spreadsheets are not very engaging to be working with when it comes to managing ideas or submitting or managing them itself. If you're doing workshops, you are probably seeing that they are pretty time consuming, both to coordinate, getting 10 people to join at the same time and force ideas to get created during just a few hours. And if you're even doing workshops on a whiteboard, no matter if it's a physical whiteboard with sticky notes or a digital one, you usually have piles of documentation to do afterwards. So you probably get it. There's a lot of challenges behind the alternatives that has been around traditionally. So what we want to be contributing to organizations with here is that we don't leave great ideas behind, because what we're seeing clearly is that those ideas could lead to improvements, to great changes, and sometimes completely new solutions and innovations for your organization out there as well. So what Hives is mainly used for, and the use case that we're usually used for, is to make sure that you can get all of those ideas and feedback in a way that's easy for people to engage in and easy for you to manage. So that combination is really crucial here, both being able to engage and easy for you to manage as well. So today it's mainly used to get employee ideas within organizations, but also, of course, product feedback and audience insights, and more organizations are using it externally as well. And so that's also what we're going to be looking at a little bit during this session as well. So with that said, the theme for today, I was mentioning the power of perspectives. That's what we're going to be focusing our topics on today. How to get the right input to make accurate decisions. And I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But just switching over to the tool itself here, just to give you a short demo as well of how it works in a practical way here as well. So, as I mentioned, we want to make it easy for you to capture or collect the data you need, no matter if it's insights, ideas, or feedback in your organization or externally as well. So in Hives, everything is centered around what we call a collection or many collections. And a collection starts with a question or a theme or a challenge or an opportunity that you want to capture input for. You're stating it as a question. You're hopefully giving some kind of short background just to get some context around what kind of input you're looking for. And as I mentioned, being easy to use, when you've shared this collection with the right people that you want to capture ideas or insights or feedback from, they will just click submit, and they will be able to add their idea with the image, title, and description, or pretty much whatever you choose to ask for in the form itself here as well. I think although that the biggest difference here compared to traditional tools like forms, surveys, and so on, where ideas or input usually ends up pretty much in a black hole. People are filling out a form and doesn't really know where it ends up, is that in Hives, if I scroll down here, we can see the other ideas that have been submitted into this collection. So what most of our customers are doing is that they're keeping it transparent, just to make sure that everyone can see each other's ideas here as well. And that really creates a really great power, meaning that we're not only capturing the people with the great ideas, we're also capturing the engagement from people to each other's ideas, being able to comment or like and engage in each other's ideas here as well. Which means that we're capturing engagement from two angles at the same time, so to speak. What's nice here as well is that if I open the left side menu here, I am a manager in this case, which means that when I capture input for a question or a collection, I can easily see the overview of what I have been collecting in this case. I can easily see what people are talking about the most. I can see heat maps to see which ideas are getting the most traction or getting the most popularity. If we're using different kind of scoring parameters, we can easily rank and sort based on the highest score and so on. And what's really nice and really appreciated out there among our customers is that when you capture large amounts of information in these different collections, you can, with the help of AI and Hives, generate reports which will look a bit like this. So how that works is that will read through the question that you've asked. Let's say that you're asking something internally or externally on a specific challenge or a specific question that you want to find insights or solutions or ideas for. You can just easily click generate report. It will think for a minute, read through everything that you collected, and it will summarize the key findings for you, some recommendations based on those, potential limitations and consequences, and the benefits of implementing those ones as well. which means that you will be able to produce pretty much an executive summary based on what you have collected in just a minute when you have the data itself. So the most important thing here is that you get real data from real human beings with experience, emotions, knowledge, and so on. But you can definitely use AI like this to be able to summarize and get the conclusions based on what you have captured here as well. The other thing about collections is that when you are capturing these kinds of ideas, insights, or feedback, you want to build a process, or you want to use a process to be able to manage what you capture here as well. Those are called workflows in Hives, which means that you can create different steps in your collections, and you can also choose what to happen on each and every step here as well. So for example, if I click qualify, I can see that there are 4 ideas in that step right now. If I open one of these up, I can see that in the qualify step, in this case, we've chosen to use a 3-parameter scoring to rank and prioritize and score ideas based on what we think is important in this case, which makes it super easy for us to compare apples and oranges in the end. Being able to rank ideas and making it easy for us to choose which ideas to spend more time or money on in the process and the workflow itself as well. The same thing when it comes to the different steps here, which you can rename, and you can add and delete different steps. You can choose to ask specific questions or fields on different steps. You can choose to use different scorecards on different steps, engaging different people or different groups on each and every step here as well, to make sure that you get all the relevant data to make sure that you can make the best possible accurate decisions out there as well. But with that said, I just wanted to make sure to give you a short demo or a short introduction of the tool here in a practical way as well, so you can have that in mind. And with that said, going back to you, Fredrik, to see if we have any questions or thoughts so far to discuss.
Yes. Coming back to the team a little bit, I have a question here. How does gathering data from partners and customers through Hives contribute to enhancing product or service quality?
Yeah, that's something really interesting, because we're often using the thing that we're talking about here, the power of perspectives. And what we mean by that is that we want to engage different audiences or different groups to make sure that we get input from different angles in order to solve challenges or make progress as an organization. But when it comes to gathering data from, let's see how we expressed it, from partners and customers through Hives, is that in Hives, you can easily, let me go back to the collection itself, you can easily share the collection. So if I have started a collection, I can easily just click share, and I will be able to produce a shareable link and a QR code for people to add to this collection. So if I share this link or QR code with people, they will be able to add ideas or insights to this collection, and they will only be getting access to this specific collection and not all of your other content in Hives as well. So it's very, very framed in that sense. What's interesting here as well is that if you want to capture that information anonymously, you can even just toggle accept anonymous contributions to active. What that means is that people will be able to add submissions or insights or input to the collection without having to leave any personal information at all. But if you have this deactivated, that means that they will be able to, they will have to sign in with it or leave their email address at least to make sure that you know who it is that submitted the different input to the collection itself. But that's definitely up to you to choose if you want to have it anonymously or not. So.
Yes, and that kind of answered the next question as well. In what ways does Hives help collecting input from partners and customers? So as you said, there's various ways of doing that, depending on the target audience, of course. As you said, we have the the more senior target audience, they like the email collection thing.
Yeah.
But also doing physical workshops and then adding in the workshop while you're working in Hives is a great way of doing it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also going back to both this question and the one before. I think that being able to engage customers or partners in these kinds of collections is really powerful, because there's actually an expression that's says assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. Excuse my language, but what we want to really avoid here is that we don't sit around and guess what people are thinking, or what they need, or what kind of problems or what kind of opportunities there are out there. We really want to make sure that we gather real data in order to from customers and partners or employees here.
Definitely. And I just show this question here because you were in the middle of answering it. how Hives can play a role of customer centricity in the decision making, which is exactly what you stop guessing, start asking, basically, and make sure you're building the right it before you build it right.
Yes.
And also on top of that, there's a lot of buzzwords here now about Yoda, your own data. And we can recommend to read about Alberto Savoia, and his findings around these topics is really, really interesting.
And I can just address that really, really quickly about Yoda, because I'm having that discussions with so many organizations nowadays that there's so many organizations and management teams out there that are talking about like being that's been a topic for like the last 10, maybe 15 years, about being data driven. I think that a really common pitfall out there is that so many organizations are talking about becoming data driven, but they're not making sure that they're driven on the right kind of data, so to speak, which means that there are a lot of organizations who are buying data or reports or studies externally, or even relying on, let's say, for example, AI to give them the right data or input on different questions or in different formats. But what I really want to make sure that more organizations are talking about and thinking about out there is that, are you really capturing input from really human beings, meaning your employees, which you have recruited and paying salary to every month, and maybe are leaving all of their great ideas behind? Are you paying attention to the insights and feedback and ideas that your customers are having? Are you listening to them? Do you have a way of making sure that you can capture their input in an easy way? That's really when I'm seeing an organization that becomes data driven. That's when they can start making accurate decisions and being, as we're talking about in this question, being a customer centric in their decision making. That doesn't just mean that you can talk about becoming customer centric and then start making decisions based on what you think that the customers are thinking. If you're going to become customer centric, really, and that means that you just need to have a way of making sure that you can capture the insights and input in an easy way. Definitely.
I agree. And also, I think, think bite-sized questioning and, involve your target audience, whether it's internally or externally, or experts or partners, but don't kidnap them, and put a lot of burden on them. Make sure that you keep it simple to participate and give data.
Yeah.
because that you will benefit a lot from that.
Yeah.
And do bite-sized questioning instead of asking for a report or because not all of us out there are academic.
No, definitely. And talking about bite-sized, the thing about being customer-centric in this case is that you can really track down what kind of insights or input have we captured from different customers or different audiences here, and we can also track them between each and every step here to see that we've captured this many ideas. This many ideas have we made decisions on, or validated, or made a decision to go or archive on. There's really intuitive ways of making sure that you can work bite-sized, as you mentioned, when it comes to capturing the input itself.
Yes. So I think, is there any more questions here? It's just one more question.
Yep.
Got to do with loyalty. How can Hives help fostering a sense of ownership and loyalty to the brand or product?
Yeah, that's a really big trend that I'm seeing, at least out there, that a lot of products or brands out there are trying to think of their product or brand more in the sense of a community, so to speak. And I think that being a modern product or a modern brand or a modern supplier, I think a part of that is being very, to use another buzzword, to be very agile together with your customers, meaning that if you're going to be building a strong product out there that is loved by customers and users, you need to really dig deep into understanding the problems and challenges and opportunities that there are out there among your customers. So I would say that just enabling this way of making sure that your customers or audiences can put or can share feedback or insights or ideas with you. Just that thing will probably create pretty much of a strong sense of ownership and loyalty among those groups as well, because when they have a possibility to share their ideas on how we can become better as a product or a brand, suddenly they become a part of making progress together with us as well, and that's what we really want to achieve here as well. So I think it's a brilliant way of working, no matter if you're using Hives or something else.
I agree, but then also we can make it easy to work this way as well.
Exactly.
To invite people and make sure that you get valid data, because that's also something, because it could very easily become theater instead of something tangible and concrete. And I think that's really important. Okay, it's nice to ask people for input, but then you don't give a shit about it, and people will notice that. That said, it's also a question. It's a skill to ask the right questions, because if you ask someone, let's say about the car, all the features, what do you want on the car, and they will just bombard you with requests, and then you build that car, and 10% of all the features are used, because that's how we work. We want everything. So we have to be better in asking about features, and maybe rather ask them, what do you think about this feature? Are you willing to pay for that? Are you willing to, instead of asking for wish list all the time? But it depends on what data you need, of course, but that's just a little.
And if it comes to, and I think it might be some differences as well when it comes to consumer facing products versus B2B facing products, in the sense that I think that at least when it comes to, or maybe that's the same, I don't know, but at least when it comes to B2B facing products, I think that one of the most important things to capture when it comes to capturing input from customers and audiences is to make sure that you capture their their problems or challenges. To be fair, because most of your customers are experts in telling what kind of problems they have. They're not always the expert in telling you what the right solution to that problem is. That's often a part of you being a supplier.
I agree with you. Once again, I agree with you.
That's great to hear.
I kind of like the concept behind the value proposition canvas, where you kind of you start with what kind of job are we doing and what is the pains and gains.
Yeah.
Where I think the gains, usually when I do workshops with companies, the pile with pains is you don't have to tell people, do you have any more pains? They bombard with negative pains, because that's so easy. And then you ask them for, what's good today? And then, they really have to look inside themselves and then you push themselves to come up with it. But when they start to do, they usually, this is not that bad and this is pretty good. And we have nice staff. We have good brand and so on and so on. And it's nothing wrong to make the good things even better as well. You don't only have to focus on pains all the time. That's so
definitely
don't forget about that.
No, keep it optimistic as well.
Yes. So that was all the questions today.
That was it. All right, great. Hope you've got some learnings and valuable tips or best practices or experiences out of this. Been watching, so thank you very much for joining this and watching us discuss these and talk here as well. Just want to say that if you have any questions or thoughts that are coming up afterwards, feel free to reach out. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. Just search for my name there, or reach me on my email address, which you can see here as well. Also want to mention that if you think that this is something that would be useful in your organization, you can go to hives.co/demo. You will be able to schedule a demo there with someone in our team to show you practically for your use case how Hives would be working for your organization and how you could use it. And if you want to read more in general, just go to hives.co here as well. And as I was mentioning in the beginning of this session as well, we're doing this every Tuesday at the same time. So feel free to share this with any one of your colleagues or friends, or invite anyone that might be having need to see this, so to speak. But with that said, thank you very much for joining today, and I hope to see you next Tuesday again. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.